Okay, once again, single planet system, so we're not expecting to see much orbital play. What this seems to be is a very, very clustery planet again, where the metal spots are arranged into small clusters and quite spread out, so we're going to see lots of little micro bases popping up and little extraction points.
I suspect so. I'm still loading in gradually, though.
My last game froze up for a little bit before we got started, but I think there's a few minor bugs that Uber have managed to work into the system for this update. Oops.
You almost made it sound as though they deliberately threw the spanner into the works, sir.
As if they would do a thing like that.
Right, now these spawns, oh my giddy goodness gracious me. What on earth is going on here? We have Luvoa, 2 mechs. That's not very nice. And Milkdragon with 5, well 6 on the outskirts there. Goodness me, Luvoa has to pull something out of the bag here.
I'm just looking, I mean, this is actually, these 2 spawns, although they're both pretty awful, you've got this lovely little choke point formed in the middle here. This is almost dictated to be the front line. And then you've got these 2 little flanking opportunities around the side of the lake and around the side of that crack. So this is going to be, once the players know where each other are, you can expect, I mean, static defences had a slight buff in this patch, so we may well see some static defences being pulled out of the bag for the first time in a few weeks. If you've been following the PCE, that is.
I haven't had a chance to really, I'm afraid, because of exams and whatnot. Now, let's have a look at what the players are likely to do. Both open with a bot factory. Milkdragon opened with grenadiers, or grenadiers rather. That's very interesting. Not going for early fabs, but instead getting his commander to do the early work for him. Those grenadiers are going to be expanding and, well, rather scouting the expansions. Luvoa, however, has to go fab first and get those expansions. Oh no, well, okay, so he's building mechs there. Those weren't revealed to me. I can't actually see those 2 sites that he's queued up, but I can see the blueprints.
Funny that.
So that's why... Oh, wow, okay, so that's really dodgy. Right, okay, never mind. Moving on.
Uber, fix your game.
Combat fabs moving out now from Luvoa, getting assisted by the commander early on, and he's still in good economy in terms of his shape, so that's going to be really good to get that out. I wonder whether that's going to assist the commander on the energy, but Luvoa definitely... okay, well, I can't really comment on anything in terms of the expansions at the moment, because I just keep seeing random metal extractors being put up in the middle of nowhere on my head.
Oh, so... Are you sure you've got the little green points enabled?
Yes, I have. I can see like half of them apparently, but yeah, I wasn't given what I thought it would expand just to his south.
Mr. Marshall, you've gone full robot on me.
Set down there.
You've gone full robot.
So.
I'll take over for a bit until you can. I think there's something draining your internet somewhere. So let's have a little. I'll take over a bit while you try.
I might have just lagged out.
Oh, there you go. You're back in. You're back in. That's fine. We've got some now vehicle factories going up here. I believe Milkdragon has now scouted, or at least has an idea. Yes, Milkdragon knows exactly where Luvoa is. Luvoa, however, has not scouted Milkdragon yet, so Milkdragon's got the advantage of knowing, and he's able to see this choke point that's formed here.
Well, Grenadier there that just took out a radar. Sorry about the lag there, it was horrendous. I'm not sure if that really put up on the stream, but he's getting out some Fireflies now from Luvoa, so he's going to be able to go and scout about where Milkdragon is and or where he is expanding. Again, I can't really comment on expansions because half of my metal sites seem to be invisible. However, we do now see Milkdragon setting up shop with his 3 vehicle factories again. Not quite finishing that one before moving his commander on to do other things. A little bit of miss micro there, but combat fab are getting boosted out now. So that's really going to assist him in terms of his production, but the ants coming off the field now. There is that Firefly sat on the floor there, just getting a cheeky scout.
He's doing a very good job.
Indeed, he's got
claims.
Oh. Humiliation. Oh, dearie me. Nice bit of metal there, though, for Milkdragon. You know, not to be sniffed at.
No, he's doing a fair old job. But Luvoa has actually managed to out-expand. He's got a huge... he's got a couple of expanding forces, I think. Oh, no, he's pulled them off of that one. My apologies. He's got the single expansion force, the old tried and tested engineer combat fab, and then 2 little anti-air bots following along slightly behind. We have now
That's
the
just to
first
keep
wave.
off on the air. Indeed, the first wave is coming in now. We've got 2 tanks there, followed up by an Inferno and another tank. They sort of keep rolling out 2 by 2. Hurrah, hurrah. But we do now... Yeah, we see a Bumblebee now coming out from Luvoa, so that's going to be able to assist a little bit in the defense of his base.
You can see that they've managed to adjust the mechanics on the bombers there, so actually attacking mobile units for bombers has actually become significantly more difficult with the current state of affairs. They've tried to reduce the vulnerability of bombers to remaining static whilst manoeuvring over targets, so they've actually now made it so that they miss a lot more, which is a bit of a pain. We've got some Infernos coming up on the front line here. They're going to go straight into those factories.
Yeah, if that Grenadier is well microed, which it isn't, it could have probably done a little bit more damage to that Inferno, but another one coming off the front line roll-off now. Inferno's coming out to answer, but I think we may see a factory get lost here. Indeed, there goes the
There goes
factory.
one, there goes 2.
And the vehicles,
That lack of micro, that Inferno just dandering off there. No, there we are, we've got some Infernos out back to answer it now, but that was a bit of a loss early on in the game.
Definitely a bit of a loss. And now, of course, Milkdragon has got that centre ground with his units there. He's bringing up a push of 6 now. He's got expansions by the South Pole as well, which is good. Luvoa, of course, also got lots of expansions. So, I mean, the metal count is actually in Luvoa's favour at this point, and he's even floating more energy, which is...
Oh, bye-bye, Marshall. You got cut out mid-sentence again.
Oh my goodness, my internet! Anyway, but yes, I was commenting on the metal disparity between the players and the energy as well. Lots more for Luvoa in terms of the float there. And Milkdragon...
Luvoa had a nice early lead on the metal, but it seems that Milkdragon is starting to catch up now, because obviously Luvoa's had this little field here which was slightly closer. Milkdragon's had to go a bit further, but he's now... Both players are doing a very, very good job of expanding and carrying on the expansion. There could perhaps be a bit more raiding done here. Milkdragon did that very effectively last game.
Yeah, indeed he did, but these Infernos getting really quite close. They are going to get taken down, however, because they are on really quite low health.
Those far too close. 3 units lost there,
Grenadiers.
didn't need to.
Yeah, needs to be a bit more micro here from Luvoa, although he is setting up shop with those factories just off to the side. The Bumblebee takes out the Fabber, so those aren't going to go up. Commander being forced to move onto the front lines off his energy line, which isn't going to be too great in the long term. But Milkdragon, you see here, he's got all of this production going up, and he's got this constant stream of units now. And the tug of war is definitely in Milkdragon's favour at this point. Although, one of the things that Luvoa could consider doing is beginning to raid the expansions.
We really do need to see a little bit more raiding on the old expansions. So Milkdragon did that very, very effectively last game. He seems to be trying to send everything through on the front line here. Again, noticing this choke point, he's trying to take full advantage of it. He's actually fallen behind a bit on the economy. I'm just struggling to see what has caused that. I can't see any raiding forces that kill off anything. I think Luvoa rather. I've got Eladir on the brain clearly. May have just been expanding that a little bit faster and has some more easily accessible metal spots. We've got a commander taking a bit of damage here. He's got the Uber cannon out.
Oh snap, a little bit too close to the front lines.
He's building factories on the front lines.
Yeah. Although, what I did see, I think Milkdragon has cancelled it, is with some Fabbers on the opposite side of the planet, where the expansions are meeting now. We have a grenade.
Oh, here we go. Reclaim Fest.
Oh, wow, that's good.
I missed that. I'm going to quickly switch back a little bit on the chronocam and watch that.
So this expansion is now claimed by Luvoa. But what Milkdragon had planned there was some air factories. Which probably going to get out some Bumblebee spam.
That was reclaim.
Now we see... Interestingly, the tug of war is coming back to the middle ground, although there is this little force pushing around the side where the commander is building his factories, getting shoved out the way there by a tank who is not taking no for an answer in terms of getting out of the way, etc. But those tanks and Infernos do look rather threatening for the expansions of Luvoa.
They do, very, very much so. You can see what Luvoa has done here is put these very, very cheap single defence turrets as a deterrent to small raiding forces. But I would actually say this is slightly larger than a small raiding force. This is able to quite happily, I think, barge in here and take all of those.
Yeah, this is definitely a Spec Ops force here, not a raiding party of sorts at all. But now a major engagement out in the middle. Luvoa still trying to skirt past, trying to take as few losses as he can to try and actually get close to Milkdragon's base at this point.
Doing so successfully.
Yeah, interestingly now, Luvoa actually seems to have sort of two streams of units, if you see what I mean. He's got the one going down the sort of central to the left. But he's also got this blob approaching the commander, who's being forced to go against Infernos.
Inferno's too close to the commander.
Whoa.
I don't like it when that
There
happens.
goes the Uber Cannon. Grenadiers surrounding them as well. They are going to lose a factory there, but a lot of loss for just a single factory. A single Inferno here, taking out quite a few units by the commander's factories, although there are the two spinners there sat on the front lines, rather pointlessly if I'm honest. Though there are the odd aircraft floating around from Luvoa.
They've got a nice little raiding force going here on some completely undefended factories on Milkdragon's front line. The Inferno's getting rather too close for comfort. Really, they should be going the other way, take out all those factories. At the moment, Milkdragon, though, as it happens, is really hurting for metal. So really, if he can carry on attacking his metal, he'll do very, very well indeed here. We've got some bombers coming out here. I'm not sure why Milkdragon's been investing quite heavily in air. Plenty of spinners around here.
Oh, I know why. If he can get up more air factories, he can spam out the bumblebees, because of course he is using the combat fab to assist all of those factories, and that's probably what's going to... He is actually managing to keep a positive economy despite all of this, but if he can keep pumping out those bumblebees, that's a potential commander snipe there, because there's not all that much anti-air going around from Luvoa at this point. There was only the odd hummingbird that used to be going around, but the production on those seems to have stopped. Anti-air ground units do not exist for Luvoa either.
Which is a bit of a mistake on his part. He can see all of these, but I did think that there were some flying around somewhere. But I actually mistook them because the unit icons are still rather similar to one another. But so yeah, he should really be building some more anti-air in response to this threat, because these bumblebees are really hampering Milkdragon's any attempt that, in fact, he tries to make towards getting back towards Milkdragon's base. He got one successful little lick in there, one on each side, two factory wreckages you can see there, but he's now being forced back by that heavy bomber spam.
That is a lot of bombers. And what Milkdragon could really use those for, if he really wanted to do it to great effect, is expansion raiding.
Oh, they would be
lovely. We do love a bit of that.
Set a bit bomber on global patrol, especially since there's no anti-air anywhere. They could just fly anywhere they like and just sort of drop bombs on things as they see them.
Yeah, he's raiding the energy fields now. 3 have already been taken out. The 4th one is about to go down. One more bomb and that's gone. I believe it's just about to go now. There it goes. But I'm not sure if you saw the video I put up recently where I managed to get out so many bumblebees in a matter of minutes. I think that might be what Milkdragon has sort of got in the back of his mind in terms of the spam there. But he's getting out more vehicle factories now. Milkdragon... fun game, he says. This is actually a good game to
fantastic.
watch.
What I'm doing at the moment, I'm setting up my picture-in-picture here over the front line so we can see the constant back and forth that's occurring here. And that then leaves me free to scout around and see some of the engagements happening around the rest of the map. We can see here that Milkdragon is actually doing a very, very good job here. This little force could probably be finishing off this little job here. He's managed to eradicate a significant portion of Luvoa's early economy advantage already. He's got those bombers which he could be making a lot better use of in terms of their raiding potential, and we now see the front line has gone straight back into Milkdragon's base again.
Indeed, the commander is right there, but he's moving away now, actually. I think he realises, I don't want to lose too much health at the moment. One shot from a grenadier goes off, 4 factories lost. The movement units are being brought back in by Milkdragon, allowing Luvoa to get that little bit extra ground in the tug of war. More factories being built on the front lines, along with power gens as well on the front lines, interestingly enough, to restore all that power that he lost earlier. Pretty much his entire energy production was lost. Fortunately, he did have the storage there, which might have been his little bit of saving grace there. Anti-air positions going up in the middle of his base now as well to answer for this bumblebee harass, which is really quite prominent in this game, and hummingbirds as well being brought back into play.
Well, funnily enough, as it happens, Luvoa has now got up some bombers of his own, and he's doing a little bit of raiding. He's actually managing to do some pretty effective damage to Milkdragon's ground-based raiding forces, but now we see some fighters from Milkdragon coming up to deal with that. That's all gone.
Yeah. Of course, Milkdragon has the combat fabs. Luvoa has not yet built one. Well, in fact, he has, but it was with an expanding Faber, which is, I think, since been destroyed and sent into 1,000 million parts.
Do you remember what I said to you earlier about the two flanking positions on either side? If you look
Well,
on the other side of the
right
lake...
Here.
Oh, what have we done?
Lots of units in on the commander.
Oh,
Sorry,
dear.
there's lots of units in there. His entire forward base is lost. Sorry to interrupt there.
Go for it.
But that was completely gone. His commander being forced to retreat away from Infernos, popping off the odd Uber cannon here and there. But Milkdragon managing to push this right back into Luvoa's base now. And because, of course, Luvoa lost...
Yeah, you have to say that again, Marshall. You cut out.
Well, Milkdragon's pushing back right into Elodie's base, and he has... not Elodie, sorry, Luvoa has now lost...
Marshy, I'm going to have to stop you there. I'm going to have to take over for a minute or so because you're completely robotified. Right, what we're seeing here, we're now seeing the Infernos on the front line here, although they've actually managed to allow the Spinners to get in front, which was a bit silly. Very, very poor micro so far on the Infernos and Milkdragon. He could have got off a lot more commander damage earlier on, but his ants coming in here, Grenadiers all pummeling him from a range. There's no Infernos there, you shouldn't be getting that close because that gives him a chance to do that. Let's see, he's got no defences here against his force here. That needs to be moving in and around. There's good micro now coming out, although he's lost all of his Infernos from poor micro earlier on. And actually that little flanking force I pointed out to you earlier on the other side of the lake, those Grenadiers have all gone. And we now have a little flanking force of Luvoa's own here, including 3 Infernos against a largely undefended area. So that could be quite lethal. Marshy, I'll bring you back in now. How are you doing?
Not too bad. However, we see Luvoa's commander tanking it on the front lines. Lots of Grenadiers being somewhat threatening. We've even got some anti-air and Infernos moving in as well. Looks like Luvoa's base is definitely under siege here. We've got all sorts of modalities going on. In fact, we've sort of halted with the Bumblebee production for the time being. But there's the GG called by Luvoa. I think he realises this isn't in his favour.
He's got the commander sat there taking shots on the front line, being pummeled relentlessly. And yet, he's got no hope of coming back from this, I'm afraid. There's enough things that are just slowly wearing him down. They've been called, and I think with good reason here. He's brought his commander too close to the front line. If his commander was a little further back, he might have been fine. He's now just charging him in.
Yeah. GG's called. It's a gentlemanly thing to do. Poof! And the dirt is gone.
I'm not sure that's how it goes, Marshall, actually.
No, it's more like bang and the dirt is gone.
That's the one, yes.
But, I mean, you can't really...
Are they paying us for this?
I don't think so, no. We should get in contact with them, but, I mean, with the clouds there, I couldn't really say bang, could I? I mean, you know.
Well, I don't know. I would have done if they were paying me enough. Which they're not. We should really get in touch with those. I mean, they would go... I mean, Sillet Bang and Planetary Annihilation would go down really well together. Right, let's have a little post-match review here. I thought that was fantastic to watch, actually. Really, really entertaining one. As I said, because of that front line, the really strong front line back and forth there, you had all sorts going on at the same time, and there was always that constant sort of, you have to be committing units to your front line, or your opponent's going to whittle you down that way.
Yeah, indeed, and there was also not too much on the expansion rating, although Milkdragon did kill a few here and there, which was well played by him at that point.
Yeah, I think both players may have neglected the backdoor routes a little bit, particularly, as you say, raiding of expansions. There was a little bit going on, but there was not as much there as there perhaps could have been. But again, if they hadn't been focusing all of their energy on the front line as they were, very, very World War I style, they would have just been overwhelmed by numbers and their bases would have been rolled over. So it's quite a difficult one to judge for both players.
Yeah, I mean...
Oops, try again.
Energy. Later on in the game, once Luvoa's energy was sort of cut out for him, Milkdragon had the production to be able to go around the back door, whereas, of course, Luvoa had to invest everything into the front lines because, of course, he had less production than Milkdragon. He
had less production, but actually, at many stages in the game, Luvoa was floating for metal. He could have been using that much more effectively. Unfortunately, I think a lot of that was due to his early factory loss, which somewhat hampered his production. So those two early factories that were managed through poor micro on Luvoa's part, unfortunately those two early factories being lost was quite detrimental to him. I think you may have gone again, Mr. Marshall. I think we've actually... There you are, you're back in. Your poor internet. What are you doing to it?
I'm not doing anything to it.
What are you downloading in the background?
It's nothing. I've
Nothing.
explicitly
Nothing. Honestly, nothing.
explicitly
Explicit
gone and
material,
closed
what
off
was
all
that?
other internet using applications.
Right. Okay. Let's have a little flick through here. So that moves us on to the next games. I'll leave this play in the background. Let's bring up the brackets if I can find them. There we are. Here's the brackets. We see we're now into round 3. Congratulations to Milkdragon. Yeah, he's saying there. Milkdragon's in our Twitch chat now, saying that reclaim saved me.